Hello, I'm Alex Toll with MetalCoffeeShop.com, and I'm back again for an influencer topic with my good friend Randy. How are you, Randy?
Alex, could not be better. It's always great to chat with you. How are you?
Good. I love chatting with you. It's my highlight of the month.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm somebody's highlight. At my age, I'm just glad I'm somebody's like wants to talk to me. So,
Yeah. So, our February question is how can you ethically integrate AI into your operations to improve efficiency without compromising trust, transparency, or the human element?
man, that's a lot of stuff. Phew. Well, it is a big question, and it's funny. It's one that I love at being a bit of the little more senior in the industry from an age standpoint. I'd probably be one that would frown on it and hate it and think it's crazy and dumb and get that stuff out of here. But I'm just the opposite, Alex. I think let me back up. At one point in time when I first heard about it, I didn't like it. I think everybody has that certain fear of what does this mean? Is it going to take over everything? Going to take over the world? Um, but I've dug into it enough, and I use it every single day. It's an app right in the front of my phone. Chat GTP is right there. I use it all day long for stuff. Um, but I think it's a great question because it's a great tool, and it can save so much time and help you clarify and clean up and make things that you do maybe more presentable. That's where I use it more for. There's so many more things we can use it for. I'm a novice still at using it, but I think the key comes in as you hit on is doing it ethically, because like anything, uh, social media, right? We're going to be on social media when you drop this, right? Social media is the same way. You can use it for the good or the bad. And I think with AI, we got to be careful that we still keep the human touch, the personal touch, and don't just let AI do everything because I think that's disingenuous. I'm very careful, as I think I'm blessed to be able to write for several magazines in the industry. I do a lot of blogging and other things, and I'm always very careful to only use it for idea generation or for fixing or geez, I hate the way that sounds. Can you make that sound a little better and then go back and Randyize it? Never, ever, ever, and that's a long time, I realize, would I write a blog or an article just have AI do it? Because at that point, I think it is disingenuous. Because I think if we remember the biggest thing that we use social media, digital, virtual, to our benefit, we've talked about before, visibility equals opportunity, and I think that's true and it's important. But I think we need to make sure that people know Alex, they know Randy, and that's Alex or Randy talking, not some AI generated thing, because otherwise anybody could do that, right? And so I think it's really important to just use it for what it's for. But like I said, right now, I am one of these believers that if you don't grasp it and you don't start using it, just like with social media and digital and all the other virtual platforms, you're going to get left behind. People that are using it are just going to be quicker, faster, better prepared. I can tell you right now, I would say that I probably save multiple hours a week. I haven't sat and analyzed that, but multiple hours a week in just my limited amount that I use it compared to probably somebody like yourself, maybe use it a lot more than I do. But like I said, I'm probably on ChatGTP 20 times a day. And I use it as a search engine too sometimes. Uh, Google's a great search engine. YouTube's a great place to find stuff. But I really like to use ChatGTP to get another take, keeping in mind, and I guess the one thing that I've learned and you got to watch is it only knows what it knows from a limited time, right? It's not infinite. Where Google has been there for a long, long time, even YouTube been there a lot longer. I think that I think we want to err on the side of if you're not sure that made sense, maybe go to another AI platform or go to Google and double check it before you go throwing it out there because it may be slightly skewed. Uh, but I think the two things that I would say, Alex, is you better use it. Use it for you want. I mean, you can use it for lead gen. You can use it for I don't. You can use it for lead gen. You can use it literally. I was talking to a guy a few minutes ago. It's going to be on my podcast in a while. And we're going to talk about AI for 30, 40 minutes coming up. And that's how important I think the subject is. But you can use it for literally, you call in instead of getting a receptionist, you can walk through the process. My concern in our industries is I would guard against that, and that's just maybe my old school way of thinking, right? Is I still think at some point there's that human part that people still want to talk to a person to explain what it is they're really looking for. I don't know that the general populace in our industry, at least, uh, is ready to just talk to a bot all the time, some machine, some weird thing in some chat box. I don't know we're ready for that yet, but I also think that we're ready for a lot more than what we're doing right now. So you do it, like I said, do it ethically though, do it with integrity. Don't use it for things it's not supposed to be used for, and make sure that it's still you. Even if you have it write something for you. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, I'd like to do a blog about X. It saves you a ton of time. But yeah, if you don't go back, and in my case, Randyize it, right? And put it into my own words, but it gives you that outline, right? And that's what I'll usually use it for, is give me an outline. I want to write about this. Give me an outline. And all of a sudden you've got 5, 6 different headings. I go, okay, that makes sense. I could write about that. That's where I use it. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but boy, I'll tell you, you got to use it, man. And I do have one. I said a parting word, but I have another parting word, because I always have another parting word until you cut me off. Is if you don't start learning it now, it's going to be like you're in high school and you never had all the math all the way through elementary, junior high, and high school, and now all of a sudden they throw you in college prep calculus. You're screwed, right? If you don't jump into it now and start getting your feet wet a little bit, you're going to wake up 6 months from now or a year from now, and it's going to be whatever we do today is going to be outdated, like literally in 25 minutes, right? So if you don't stay on it every day and learn what's going on, you're going to wake up someday and go, okay, I really need to use this around October of next year. And you're so far behind, it's going to be very, very hard to catch up, right?
Yeah, for sure. I really like the point of using it as like a starting point for ideas and an outline, because I do that all the time. Writing is not my strength, and so if I need to write something up, whether it's short or like a whole, couple of pages, a starting point really helps me to get the ideas flowing, get the juices flowing. Just, hey, I need to write about this, and then maybe it'll give me the full thing, and then I'll take a few nuggets out of it, but it gives you that starting point to be able to put something together, or give you ideas on how to improve something, or in your business, like, how do I go about fixing XYZ, and then put it in there, and it'll just give you a bunch of ideas, and most of them might be trash, but there might be one thing and then you're like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? So it's a great resource.
It is, and you can plug, like I said, and like you just hit on, you can plug in. Maybe you just wrote a, a, a policy for at work, right? And you wrote it, but did you miss something? Did it sound as good as it could? Is it as to the point? And I love you can stick it in there and say, does this thing make sense? Right? And I think one thing we didn't touch on, I think, is I'm really learning. And a guy I just talked to a few minutes ago is going to send me some information that I'm kind of looking forward to. Is it's the prompts, right? It's all about the prompts, man. It's kind of the old computer thing, garbage in, garbage out was something way back in the time that got talked about more, but you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. So you got to ask it the right stuff and ask it the right way. And that's a whole science in itself and an art in itself that I get better literally. It's funny. I find myself actually talking to it. I need to name it because and some people have named it, I think, but I haven't figured that part out yet. But I'll compliment it. Say that's exactly what I was looking for. Well done. Or if I write something, I put it in there and say, does this sound good? Can you make this a little more conversational? Or could you make this a little more professional because I want to put it on LinkedIn? But then I say, now could you make it a little more witty and quirky and whatever, because I'm going to put this one on Facebook, right? You can take the same work you did and and make it useful for the different platforms. So that's where I use it mostly as marketing right now. But you're right. You could write policy, you could write plans, you could write business plans, you could do just about anything you want to do. So, but biggest thing is ethical, integrity based, and get started, man. Get started.
And don't forget to add your personalization to it. Don't make it sound like ChatGPT. Make it sound like yourself.
Exactly. And that is real key. And you can as you use more of it, you again, I'm speaking to the choir, but you can ask it to use my voice, right? And the more you put in and the more that you talk to it, the more stuff you give it to do, the more it understands how I talk, how I say things. And I always ask it to, in my voice, what you know about me, right? And what you know about my
That's
interest.
smart. I didn't even think about doing that.
Yes, that's one of the things I automate, using my voice and what you know about me and my industry. And then I might say, do it in a conversational tone, do it in a quirky or witty tone, do it in whatever. And the thing I've worked on, just because it eliminates a little bit of do-over, it doesn't always work very well because it loves to put its own phrases. And if any of us has used it any little amount of time, you can recognize those notorious AI phrases.
Delve. It says
Yes,
delve a lot.
delve.
That
Yes,
drives me
yes.
crazy.
I've never delved into anything, but I always ask it to not. I always ask it to avoid any notorious AI phrases. I don't know if it does any good because I still get some that's like delve is a great one. And the other one I notice is it loves to use the little lines. I don't know, there's a word for that little line after a word, like a continuation. You would use an ellipsis, right? But and it's like just some of those things I just you notice, but you only pick up on those after you do it for a while. But as you said, talk to it as a person. That's what I do. I chat with it as if it's a person I'm talking to.
Yeah. Well, and as it develops more, it's going to be more like a person. In a few years, it might be your new work buddy all the time.
It's good stuff. And the big thing is, yeah, I get it. Just stop being afraid of it. It is here to stay. With like I've said many a times, anywhere anybody will listen is, years ago, if you don't have a website presence, if you don't exist. Today, I'll say it to anybody will listen. If you don't have a social media presence, to a large percentage of people your age or my age, and there's quite a difference, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But I'm still here, so that's good. But you don't exist to a lot of people, right? And I'm not going to say you're not going to exist, but you're not going to exist at the same level if you don't get involved with these things. It's happening too fast. And there are going to be jobs out there that probably will be eliminated by AI, I suppose. There's always that fear, right? But I still follow so far the theory that the jobs that are eliminated by AI, there'll be new jobs that come into place. You just got to learn them.
Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing. Yep.
Hey, before the Henry Ford started the Model T, you didn't need car mechanics, right? The horseshoe people needed to figure out how to work on cars. It's the same thing. You just got to learn new things. So good stuff. I mean, like I said, I could chat about this forever because I love it. But it's really, and I'm an old guy, and I love it. So if I'm an old guy, you can love it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Randy, as always.
Thank you.